19 novels. That's a lot, even for someone who's a full-time novelist. How many has Joyce Carol Oates written?
Oh, probably 119. She is just incredible.
But still, 19 is a great output, and you're also doing all that other stuff.
All that other stuff, yeah. Well, you got to, it's the old story. I've discussed this before, that I found out some years ago that I have time to do the things I really want to do, if I really want to do them. And that's
if you
the
don't
key
sleep,
to it.
You can do it.
No. I can do it. You just have to use the awake time a little more efficiently. That's all.
Were you inspired at all by that song by the Andrews Sisters?
Not the story itself, but I knew once I decided on the story and this character, this kid, that I was going to call him Johnny, and I love that. I'd always loved that song. Oh Johnny, oh Johnny, oh.
It's an odd song because it was written during World War I, but became a huge hit during World War II.
Exactly.
Well, Johnny, your protagonist, has been signed to play baseball in Detroit, but then he joins the Marines, and that kind of derails his plans. Not just for him. There was a whole generation of ball players who went off to war. That's
right. Some of them stayed. They went into the military, but they were asked. They had semi-pro baseball leagues for various military bases, but some of them decided they didn't want to play baseball. They wanted to be real military people. So there were two kinds of professional baseball players during World War II, those who played ball and those who played war.
Well, the focus of the story seems to be more on what it's like to re-enter life, or in Johnny's case, to start a life after returning from war, and that's something that we've been talking a lot about these days.
That's right. That's essentially his story. I mean, he as a kid, 17, 18 years old, had some experiences that before the term was created, post-traumatic stress disorder or syndrome, and whatever you want to call it. He certainly suffered from it, as you say, many of these kids are today. But I wasn't consciously thinking about that. However, all of that was going on at the time I was writing this book, particularly those early times when there were stories and great concern about the fact that problem wasn't being dealt with properly by the Veterans Administration and the Pentagon and all of that. And we were doing stories on the NewsHour about it, as was everyone else. And it must have played a role, because once I got him into that situation, and he was a flamethrower operator, which is a traumatic thing to do anyhow. It's probably the single most deadly weapon personally that you could use in war. I'm sure it played a role, but I wasn't consciously thinking about it.
Well, it's a horrific weapon, because if you shoot somebody, you might not even be aware of what happened. But a flamethrower, you see the person burn up.
You see the person burn up. And also, I later learned, because I was later a Marine in the 50s myself, and was for a while a platoon leader of an anti-tank assault platoon in an infantry battalion. Well, an anti-tank assault, that's where the flamethrowers are, and they have other things too, explosives and all of that. So I knew, I used a flamethrower. I knew what it was like. But the other thing about a flamethrower operator, and this is why it's so thing about Johnny, my made-up character, is that a flamethrower operator's life expectancy in combat in World War II for a Marine was about 0, because, for your point, you shoot that flame, and then everybody on the other side says, "Wow!" Everybody shoots right at where that flame started. And so the first thing they trained, including Johnny, the first thing they taught Johnny was you shoot your flame and then you run like hell. And that's what, if you don't, you get killed.